Hey there, welcome to another episode of Stand Your Ground Studio. This is Scott. Today I want to talk to you about the Donald Trump and Simpsons debate that's gone on in the truther community for more than half a year now. And I bring it up because it's now back in the mainstream media and it's being used in a dangerous way. So what you see on the screen right now is a snapshot from the end of my last video, which is all about Donald Trump, the civil war that's being created, and how a lot of truth is being put out in plain sight right now on a scale I've never seen before. And a lot of it's being pinned on Trump, who's being used as a symbol for doom and gloom in our near future. So just a quick quote from that article right there. It's from The Guardian last week. A possible future Trump presidency, said the episode's writer Dan Greeny, just seemed like the logical last stop before hitting bottom. It was pitched because it was consistent with the vision of America going insane. This is right in line with everything I talked about in that episode. Every day it seemed like something relevant was coming up and I had to figure out whether or not it should go in the video. This popped up right before I hit the export button, so I just put it in real quick. I see a lot of confusion still out there about this topic, and it really caught my attention. Why is it out in the mainstream media like that? So I'm going to go real quick over the timeline of what happens in the truther community and then how it's being presented to the masses. So back in 2000, an episode called Bart to the Future was released. It was on March 19th, so they're telling us this 16 years after it happened. And in this episode, Lisa is shown to be president of the United States in a vision. And in it, it's mentioned that the country is broke because of the Trump presidency, which came before her. And there's some stark similarities between what they're saying then and what's happening now. And in June of 2015, Trump declared his candidacy for president. That's June 16th. Then July 7th, Trump-tastic Voyage comes out, which had a lot of visuals from earlier that year. And this is the clip where Homer falls into Trump's toupee and goes on a weird voyage. So then not long after that, this visual starts popping up. And a whole bunch of videos are made saying, see, this is how blatant the predictive programming is being. You can see how exact it is. And then some months went by, and then people found out, no, that was Trump-tastic Voyage. And a whole bunch of debunking videos came out and called foul on the earlier videos. There was a big debate back and forth, and then it generally calmed down. So then about a week ago, guess what comes out? That article that I just showed you actually was an interview done with one of the writers from that episode, and if you Google it, something like this, Simpsons writer interview about the Trump presidency, you're going to get results running right off the page. And that's page 2, actually. So page 1, you'll see Hollywood reporters who did the interview, but then The Guardian picked it up, Fortune picked it up, and a bunch of others too. And it's a mix. And diving into the article from The Guardian, I'm going to read through some snippets and keep in mind everything I talked about in my last video and realize this is what the public is reading. And again, it's about projecting doom and gloom through President Trump, or the possibility of President Trump. So it was intended, according to its creator, as a warning to America, a horrifying and fantastical vision of the future in which the U.S., ludicrously, had elected its president Donald Trump. But with the property billionaire now the favorite to gain the Republican nomination for the presidency, the episode of The Simpsons that in 2000 foresaw such a laughable outcome has begun looking unnervingly prescient. Possible future Trump presidency, said the episode's writer Dan Greeny, just seemed like the logical last stop before hitting bottom. It was pitched because it was consistent with the vision of America going insane. They mentioned a few things about the country going broke. He mentions the important thing is that Lisa comes into the presidency when America is on the ropes and that is in the condition left by the Trump presidency. What we needed was for Lisa to have problems that were beyond her fixing, that everything went as bad as it possibly could, and that's why we had Trump be president before her. So they're saying it in plain English, they're just kind of twisting the order of events. And then this is him saying his official reason, which the majority of people just accept. The Simpsons, he said, has always kind of embraced the over-the-top side of American culture, and Trump is just the fulfillment of that. Yeah, right. So then they go on to mention the brief separate animation that was the Trump-tastic Voyage. So why I'm bringing this up is that a lot of people debunked the original videos because it makes the truther community look bad, and that's exactly what happened. And what I'm not saying is calling anybody right or wrong. There's a larger picture going on here. I think this was done on purpose to trip people up so that when they do bring this up in the mainstream media, truthers will say, no, we already told you, and then people won't listen to them. So this is their way of spoiling the truth and putting it out in plain sight, and people just buying into it even more. So we just need to be careful about this going into the future. If you haven't seen my previous video about Donald Trump and how they're pinning everything on him, the growing civil war and the Hitlerism and all that, go ahead and watch that. If I've missed anything, please go ahead and comment below. So like, subscribe, pass it along, let me know what you think about this. I'm just bringing this up because it's important and I'm seeing some confusion out there about it. That's about it for today. Thank you very much for listening. I'll talk to you next time.